Bear encounter ends deadly. Terrifying video captures Greg hiker's final moments as charging bear forces him to plunge to his death. A chilling video has surfaced showing the final moments of a Greg hiker who fell to his death after being charged by a bear in the remote Frakto forest of Drama, northern Greece. Now let's explore this story in depth on today's AI podcast.
Imagine stepping into, well, one of Europe's really ancient forests, the Frakto forest. It's this place of just profound stillness, untamed beauty, and the air kind of hums with nature. Now picture a calm day hiking. You've just finished an adventure, and then suddenly that tranquility, it's just shattered.
Distantly.
Yeah, a flash of brown fur, a desperate shout, and this struggle for survival, all caught on a phone camera, ending in this chilling silence. That's the powerful, tragic encounter we're diving into today.
And the sources we have are just incredibly raw.
They really are. Our deep dive is built around genuinely harrowing material, this 49-second video filmed by one of the men involved, literally in his final moments.
And combined with that, the detailed eyewitness account from the survivor.
Exactly. Together, they give us this unparalleled, immediate, and just utterly visceral look at a real confrontation, man versus wild.
Yeah.
So our mission today, it isn't just to, recount a tragedy. We really want to unpack the precise sequence of events.
Break it down.
Yeah, dissect those critical moments, figure out what happened when and why it turned out the way it did.
And what it tells us, right?
Right. Beyond that, explore what this incredibly rare, devastating incident can teach us about, well, human-wildlife interactions, even in places where you just don't expect this kind of thing.
Especially there, perhaps.
Yeah. So for those of you interested in wilderness survival, ecosystems, that delicate balance, this deep dive should offer some pretty profound insights.
It's a stark reminder.
Okay, so let's set the scene. It begins on a Sunday, June 8th. Pretty tranquil day, you'd imagine. Two friends, Christos Stavrianidis, he was 61, and his companion Dimitris. They're on a day trip deep in the Frakto forest that's in Drama, northern Greece.
And this wasn't just a casual hike, was it?
No, exactly. They just visited an old aircraft wreck that Christos had found recently. Gives it this sense of adventure,
Bit of exploring?
Yeah, which, looking back, just adds this really poignant layer to what happened next, this high point of discovery before the turn.
And we need to understand the Frakto forest itself. It's not just like a big park.
Right.
This is genuinely primeval, one of the last virgin forests in Europe. It's dense, ancient trees, rugged terrain, steep ravines. I mean, it's challenging, even for people who know what they're doing.
Okay.
And while seeing a brown bear might be statistically rare, Frakto is their habitat. They live there, they breed there. Their presence is just fundamental to its wildness, even if you don't see them often.
So that sense of adventure, finding the wreck, maybe it slightly masked the true wildness they were in.
It could have. It
Yeah.
might make the suddenness of the encounter even more disorienting. You're feeling adventurous, not necessarily on high alert for immediate danger like that.
Right. So they're heading back, Christos and Dimitris. Dimitris is walking maybe 10 meters ahead.
Okay.
And he hears Christos shout, "Dimitris, come see a bear." Now, initially, you might think, oh, cool, a distant sighting?
Curiosity, maybe?
Yeah. But Dimitris said the moment he turned, he knew. This wasn't distant. The bear was, in his words, dangerously close. That shift from wonder to alarm, instantaneous.
10 meters is nothing in that situation.
No, and this is where things get incredibly raw, incredibly immediate, because in those moments, Christos Stavrianidis, he pulls out his phone.
Starts recording?
Yeah. We have this 49-second video filmed by him capturing this terrifying scene. A large brown bear just appears on the trail, and it's coming right at him.
Unbelievable.
And you hear Christos' desperate calls on the video, cutting through the forest sounds. "Where are you? Come! Come to me! Come to me! I say, come to me!"
Calling for Dimitris.
Yeah. And their dog, their companion, it's right there too, barking like crazy. Just this small, brave defender trying to fend off this huge animal.
Wow.
Then you hear this really shocking shout on the video, "Throw Dimitri!" It's frantic, maybe a desperate, panicked instruction. It sounds chillingly unclear exactly what he meant, but it speaks volumes about the sheer terror.
Sheer panic. Yeah.
Almost right after that, you hear this distinct hiss. Bear spray being released.
Okay, so he deployed something.
He did. But just moments later, you hear Christos cough. He loses his footing, and he just tumbles down this really steep ravine.
Oh, no.
His screams, they echo for just a few seconds, and then the video just cuts off. Silence.
God, that footage beyond being just tragic, it really shows the sheer speed and chaos, doesn't it?
Totally.
And that instinct to record, even when you're in mortal danger, it gives us this perspective we'd never normally have. It's completely raw.
Yeah.
It just strips away any, romantic ideas about wildlife encounters. They're immediate, unpredictable, brutally fast.
And you mentioned the spray. The sources say Christos used a small spray first. What does that likely mean?
Well, based on Demetrius's account later, it seems likely that Christos's initial spray was probably a personal pepper spray, like for self-defense against humans, not a dedicated bear spray.
Ah, okay. Big difference.
Huge difference. Bear spray is specifically formulated for large animals. Higher concentration of capsaicinoids, the active ingredient, and crucially, it sprays further and wider, creating a bigger cloud.
Right.
A small spray, a personal one, might momentarily startle or irritate a bear, especially if it gets a direct hit to sensitive areas, but against a large, agitated brown bear, its effectiveness could be really limited, particularly if the bear is already charging or highly motivated.
That's such a critical distinction for anyone heading into bear country. But the video, horrific as it is, it's just one angle.
Exactly, one perspective in the chaos.
To really get the full picture, we have to turn to Demetrius's eyewitness account. It fills in those crucial gaps, shows how this, carefree day trip just spiraled into this awful struggle.
His perspective is vital.
So according to Demetrius, the bear first charged at Christos.
Okay, the initial target was Christos.
Yes. And Christos, reacting instantly, used his small spray, as Demetrius called it. And apparently it did seem to work, briefly. The bear backed off for a moment.
A momentary retreat, okay?
But it was just a brief pause. Then the bear switched focus, turned and advanced directly towards Demetrius.
Towards the survivor.
Yeah. Got, Demetrius said, just 2 or 3 meters away from him. He described being utterly stunned, just frozen by its speed and closeness.
That sequence. Initial charge, brief retreat, then re-engaging and switching targets. That's actually quite characteristic in defensive bear encounters.
Really?
Yeah. These often aren't predatory attacks. They're usually defensive, stemming from surprise, maybe feeling threatened or protecting cubs, though none were mentioned here.
Okay.
The first spray might have startled it, made it pause, but then deciding to re-engage and target Demetrius. It shows how dynamic things are. The bear's still agitated, maybe Demetrius's movement or the dog still barking. Something re-triggered that defensive reaction. It just highlights how complex it is. The animal's motivation can shift second by second.
And in that absolute critical moment, when the bear was almost on top of Demetrius, the dog.
The dog again.
Yeah, jumped right in front of Demetrius. Just total bravery, bought him maybe a few seconds.
An absolutely crucial distraction.
It gave Demetrius the window he needed. He managed to pull out his own pepper spray, and this seems key. It sounds like his was a proper, dedicated bear spray.
The right tool.
He sprayed it directly, and that direct hit, apparently applied correctly, worked. The bear, finally deterred, turned and ran off.
And that is a textbook example, really, of how a properly used bear deterrent can absolutely save your life. Demetrius keeping his cool enough to get it out, aim, and deploy it directly. That was crucial.
Shows the importance of having it accessible, too.
Absolutely. Accessible, the right kind of spray, and knowing how to use it under unimaginable pressure. It's not foolproof, nothing is, but it makes a difference.
But tragically, the danger wasn't over for Christos, even though the bear ran off from Demetrius.
It returned to Christos.
Demetrius said, unfortunately, the bear returned to Stavrianidis. He described the final moment. It moved towards him and pushed him.
Pushed him.
Yeah. Demetrius wasn't sure if it was with its body or its paws. He just said, I don't know, but it was enough to knock him down.
The sheer power.
Exactly. He said Christos fell once, then again, tumbling down that steep slope. And after that, silence.
So the fall was the immediate cause. Even a push or a swat from a bear like that, especially on steep, uneven ground, it could be devastating. The fall itself, not necessarily a direct mauling, becomes the fatal event. It shows those secondary dangers.
In that awful silence afterwards, Demetrius, understandably in shock, just found some shelter among nearby fir trees.
Just try to process, stay safe.
Right. He immediately called for help, dialed 1666 and 112, the emergency numbers, gave his coordinates. He also alerted friends who knew that rugged terrain.
Smart move, getting hold of people familiar with the area.
Yeah, but the location itself, it was so remote, so incredibly steep, that actually reaching Christos's body was extremely difficult for the rescue teams. It took time.
And that remoteness of Frakto, it's not just background detail, is it? It's critical in the aftermath.
How?
Well, in a city or somewhere accessible, help arrives in minutes. In Frakto, You're dealing with dense forest, maybe no trails, severe slopes. Rescue efforts are massively complicated. That time lag, even if, as it turned out, Christos' death was instant, it adds to the trauma for the survivor.
Right.
And it just hammers home the inherent risks of going into these truly wild places. Help might be hours, maybe even days away. You have to be prepared for that reality.
A forensic report eventually confirmed the tragic news. Christos Stavrianidis died instantly from the fall. The trauma of tumbling down that ravine.
Instantaneous.
His funeral was held 4 days later, June 12th.
Such a sudden, awful loss.
And Dimitris, the sole survivor, he described the bear as a massive adult male, said it was the first one he'd ever actually seen in the wild.
First sighting, wow.
His quote about it it stays with you. He said, "It was huge. I will never forget it. One moment we were hiking and the next, he was gone."
Those words, they carry so much weight. Witnessing something like that, a fatal attack on your friend, facing that kind of raw power, it leaves this indelible psychological scar.
You can only imagine.
Survivors often deal with really complex PTSD, survivor's guilt, this completely changed perception of safety, especially in nature. For Dimitris, that quote, "I will never forget it," it's not just a memory. It's likely him re-experiencing that trauma. The wilderness, maybe once a place of adventure for him too, now becomes this symbol of ultimate, unpredictable danger.
His whole relationship with nature, with feeling safe, just irrevocably altered.
Completely.
And this whole incident, captured so starkly by the footage and Dimitris' account, it has, well, understandably reignited these urgent discussions in Greece about human-wildlife encounters.
As it should.
Yeah, in these remote forests. It's just such a potent graphic reminder that even where brown bears are statistically rare, they are still this powerful, undeniable force.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, this specific tragedy seems to be prompting a really practical reevaluation of wilderness safety protocols in Greece.
Okay, so concrete changes.
Well, the discussions are moving beyond just the general idea of coexistence. People are asking about the efficacy of current guidelines, especially in places like Frakto.
Right. Are the current rules enough?
Exactly. Are people properly informed? We're hearing calls for clearer public education on bear behavior. Understanding the difference between a defensive attack, which this seems to have been triggered by surprise, proximity, versus a predatory one, which is much rarer for brown bears.
And managing access.
And managing the increasing human recreation in these habitats. How do we balance access with safety and respecting wildlife space? It forces a really practical look at what coexistence actually means on the ground.
So education, deterrent use, safe practices.
Yeah, knowing how to use deterrence correctly, hiking safely, recognizing signs, giving animals space. It requires active engagement, not just assuming things will be fine because attacks are rare.
What this deep dive into the Frakto forest really illuminates, I think, isn't just the danger of one aggressive animal. It's about the profound respect that truly wild spaces demand.
A different level of awareness.
Yeah. Even where sightings are uncommon, this tragedy shows us that nature's power can just assert itself in an instant. It demands our constant awareness, our preparedness.
It's a sobering thought.
It really is. A reminder that going into these places carries inherent risks. We have to acknowledge them, prepare for them, no matter how experienced we think we are.
Respect for the environment includes respecting its potential dangers.
So we've walked through the Frakto forest, metaphorically speaking, witnessed this sudden tragic event that just laid bare human vulnerability against nature's raw power.
An ordinary day turned extraordinary, in the worst way.
Captured in agonizing detail, recounted with searing honesty. This deep dive, it really reminds us of the respect the wild is due. But thinking beyond just immediate self-defense, the practical stuff. What broader lessons can you, listening now, take from such a rare, tragic incident? How does it change how we see these places?
Exactly. How we perceive them, how we engage with them, and ultimately how we protect both ourselves and the natural world around us. Something to really mull over.
Okay, one question for you. Do you think hikers should be required to carry bear spray or other protection in bear inhabited areas? Don't forget to comment it. Thanks.